Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. I think about my dear late cousin Linda, who next month will be a year since she went to be with God. And nobody said, Lord, have mercy, like my cousin Linda. In fact, it was one of the first things I mentioned in my eulogy at her celebration of life. Lord, have mercy, Amy. Nobody said it like her. And I miss hearing that. But I've been thinking a lot, and I'm going to be very serious now, about the concept of mercy. I've been thinking about it a lot in the last few days, and I don't think it was a coincidence that the reading today in the book that I am currently using as a devotional had to do with mercy. I'm reading this book by Matthew Kelly of Dynamic Catholic. You can look up that organization, dynamiccatholic.org. And the book is called 33 Days to Eucharistic Glory. And today, the virtue and the concept of the devotional was about mercy. Now, for those of us who are Christians, regardless of what denomination we belong to, you may not even belong to a denomination, but you have a relationship with Christ, which personally I think is more important than being part of a certain denomination. But I digress. We know that in our Christian faith, we believe that God forgave our sins through the gift of Jesus, hanging on a cross, taking on our sins. It's mind-blowing stuff, but that's what we believe. And because of that, we need to forgive other people. Not we should, we need to, we must. And then there's this concept called mercy. One thing I've learned in my years of living, both as the giver of hurting somebody, being the one who inflicts the hurt, and being the person who takes the hurt, that the hurt is directed toward, I've learned to develop compassion. And I can honestly say that for every single person who has hurt me, whether it was somebody that stalked me years ago, whether it was somebody that I was in love with, whether it was a friend, just a really good friend, it could be a number of things, a boss, I can still find compassion for that person. Because here's what I know. I know this about myself, and I know this about people who have hurt me. When they've shared little bits of their lives. Hurt people hurt people. Hurt, adjective, people. Hurt, verb, people. And I think about in my own life when I haven't been in a good situation, whether it was maybe that rare time in a job where I was just frustrated, felt like I was beating my head against the wall, or going through challenges with my children when they were growing up. It could be a number of things. And I think about sometimes when I lashed out at people, even people that I loved, knowing that it wasn't about the situation between us. It was really what was going on inside of me. And it just came out in that way. And so, when people hurt us, when they are verbally abusive to us, or just a number of things, we take measures to protect ourselves, and we do a lot of soul searching, and we commit to praying for those people, or at least that's what I do. A lot of people will tell you not to pray for somebody who's hurt you because that keeps you tethered to them. It keeps you connected to them. But if they had a positive influence on your life in some way, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think we should honor those memories. But then people can change or they snap. Again, we don't know why. It could be a lot of things just going on in their lives that had nothing to do with the situation that caused the outburst or the hurt or whatever it was. But what I know is that we have to practice forgiveness. We have to show mercy. Even if we don't extend that mercy verbally to that person, it's just in our heart that we have mercy and that we have compassion. And I think one of the best things that any of us can do is to pray for people who hurt us. Because again, at the end of the day, it's typically not about us. It's typically not about the situation. It's something deeper inside of us that we haven't dealt with. And I think we can all identify with that, every one of us. I mean, I know I certainly can. I talk about this a lot in Holy Yoga sometimes with my students. You know, I'll have them call to mind as they're lying in child's pose, or maybe they're just on their backs. Call to mind someone who has hurt them deeply, and just picture that person in front of them. And they're showing them mercy, they're showing them compassion, they're showing them forgiveness. That's what Jesus would do. And so I don't know who needs to hear this message today. Probably anybody who's watching it. Just extend mercy, even if it's only in your heart. Hold the person in a place of compassion and pray for them. Pray for them that whatever is going on in their lives, they can work that out. And, you know, we all need prayer. I have things I'm navigating in my own life right now, where I'm going to land, as far as where I'm going to spend the rest of my life. That's a huge thing with me right now. My life was completely uprooted the end of last year. And what I thought was going to be my life is not going to be my life. And so that's something I'm going through, but I'm actually kind of excited about it because, again, it's not what I wanted, but, you know, we make the best of what's been given to us. So I hope that gives you some food for thought. Maybe today you take a quiet corner if you've been hurt by somebody or abused by somebody in some way, and you just take that quiet corner and you call that person to mind and you just lift them up to God. You thank the Lord for the good that they gave to you and hopefully the good you gave to them. And then you hold them in a place of compassion, and if you feel like it, you just commit to praying for them. So, again, food for thought, mercy. It's a beautiful thing, and it's something we need to pay attention to and practice in our lives. Hope you have a great day, and I hope you have a great week.